Hi, it's cold in here. I just realized that my son and I were talking about using this basement, more, and the problem is that the heating vents and stuff like that really suck down here, and we're planning to remodel anyway. But hadn't used it all winter, and it was like, well, it's because it's cold, and I do mean it's cold down here. So hopefully in the summer, of course, the good side is when it's summer, it's nice and cool down here. It's not cold, cold, but it's a lot more comfortable than sitting upstairs in the hot. So this is my room. Um, Last night was interesting, as you know, with all the voting crap that's going on, all the stupid news. It's We got to go to something I've never been to before, which is called the caucus. I've been to primaries, and the primaries that I've been to before, because you're registered one way or the other, whatever you're registered for, that's who you can go in and vote for those particular individuals. And to be honest, when I'm voting, sometimes you got a good guy that's in one group or the other, and so I will switch to whoever I think would do the better job. The problem is this last time, they wouldn't switch mine to who I wanted, to where I wanted to be. When I finally got it switched, it was too late, so I wasn't allowed to vote. But we went. My son, it was his first time really being in the voting system, all of this political stuff. Reason why, even though he's 25, 26, 26 years old, the reason why is because the first time he was allowed to vote, or when voting took place, he was in boot camp. And so, even though I mailed all the materials, you have a mail in voting and stuff like that, uh, I would have to mail it to him, and in boot camp, he is protected from the world, so he doesn't know what's going on. And it's like, my best guess is, and then when it came around again, he was on a ship in the middle of nowhere, protected from the outside world, so he really didn't know who to vote for and what all that stuff was going on. So this year, uh, he's actually been able to dive in, and so he's been watching all of the speeches and looking at all the data and all that kind of stuff. And what gets me is there's one individual, which we pretty much feel that would do the best job. But the problem is the media doesn't want to cover this individual because, I don't know, not a lot of money, don't take crap. I'm not sure why. But there is such a thing as called videos, YouTube, so we share those as best we can. But this year has been crazy. Before, there's times I hated voting because they were all idiots, they were all assholes, they were all, forget it, I don't want to deal with any of them. And or you got, I think it was very, very rare that I was ever two good ones that I was like, oh yes, which one do I want? And sometimes there was one I cared for. Sometimes I would vote for somebody completely off the wall because I didn't like anybody up there. So we went to the caucus thing last night, and they gave me a button. I was like, okay, I'll put it on. And they had stickers and buttons and all that kind of stuff. The stickers didn't stay on me. There was, Hillary going on, and there was a bunch of other people too. And so I had to laugh when they were getting ready to do their speeches. Everybody had a chance to do their speeches. The first guy who got up, he says, well, let's praise the Lord, we don't have to listen to Trump. Everybody hollered and hooped and all that kind of stuff. And this one was different because the ones we'd done before, you wrote out your ballot who you wanted, and this time it was you just raise your hand type of thing, or you count bodies. The group that we were in, well, I couldn't vote, but so I had to stand aside. But what they did is after they chose who's going to be in charge of what, which so easy. Instead of having all these fights and everything, it was like, yeah, you're good, whoever. And they said, okay, those who want this person go over here, those who want that person go over there, and then they count out the numbers half a dozen times, make sure everybody comes up with the same number. And then they would have, I think they said they had one delegate for every 6 people. And then you had the delegates to write down what the voting number was. And so in our group it was 2 to 1 when it finally got down to the delegates. And my son volunteered to be a delegate, so I thought that was kind of cool. Other than that, it was just kind of interesting to see the whole process, find out who's all running for what, because it wasn't just the presidential thing. You also had a lot of people who's talking about stuff for our personal communities, the school there, what's going on in our neighborhoods, that kind of thing. So I really, really liked it because it kind of got things a lot more informative. And my son got a kick out of the fact that this whole thing took place in his old high school. And so after we were all done, he wanted to go uh, walk around and reminisce, that kind of thing. And he said that he ran into some school friends and stuff like that. And there was some old guy, he says, well, I don't know where all the millennials are. And it's like most of the room was kids my son's age, which are the millennials. So I guess this guy had some idea in his head what a millennial was. Don't know. Um, they always have some sort of name for each one of the generations, that kind of thing. I don't even know what mine was. I was a hippie. When I was growing up, during my growing up period, it was during the hippie age. Whatever. um, but yeah, if anything, when it comes to voting, I ain't gonna tell you who to vote for. I ain't gonna go on about who I want to vote for. Uh, what I will tell you is to really do your homework, really get the facts, and just because someone is all kinds of out there and shoots off his mouth about a lot of stupid stuff, really do your homework. Check their background. What kind of person were they in the past? That will give you a good idea of what they're going to do in the future. Um, you know, one scares me. One scares me a lot. I don't want anything to do with him. He's an idiot. He's a fool. And it really scares me to think about that one being in the president. Um, I have my preferences, but there's a couple that, if the one I want doesn't make it, I'm okay-ish with another one, but it's like I'd rather not, but you just put up with what you can. Um, I don't know, just what do y'all think? I had a very learning experience from that whole situation last night. It was late when we got home. We were supposed to go to Bible study, but it kind of took over. Uh, but yeah, when it comes to voting this year, all I can say is really, really do your homework. Really get the details, get the facts. Um, I had to laugh because there was somebody, Trump was going on about somebody about how he was such the Christian and he was this and that and the other, and I just sent him a Bible verse, Second Thessalonians 7:15 through 22, something like that. I could be wrong. Don't quote me on it. But basically, it talked about wolves dressed in sheep's clothing, and how the priests would do that. And it also talked about how when you're bearing, when you got trees that are bearing fruit, and when they're not bearing the fruit they should, they get trimmed back so that they can bear good fruit. But you can tell a good tree from a bad tree by the fruit they bear. He didn't have anything to say to me about that. Probably because he didn't get what I meant. But yeah, really do your homework this year, because I think this is going to be the most important uh, presidential election we'll ever have right now, because they're hitting some very, very, very serious issues, and we got some big fools up there, and I don't know, we got some good people, and we got some, one guy, I don't know what to think about the guy from Canada. I don't really know anything about him. But then this other one who's a kid, he acts like he's turned into a pit bull instead of just, let's take care of business. And then you got the asshole, and we ain't gonna go into who that is. So I loved it. What I thought was funny is we were sitting down around the table talking, and the lady next to me said that she refers to this individual as he who should not be named. It fits. Anyway, good luck, do your homework, and have a good one. Good night.